We offer an amazing personal loan product. It's an unsecured product with rates starting at 5.75%. The loan term is exceptional because it's up to 7 years, which gives Canadians extreme flexibility. But on top of that, there's no penalties for early repayment. So it gives them that really nice flexibility. And they're able to borrow up to $50,000.
I'm here with Jennifer Bovaird, Head of Marketing and Customer Experience at Symple Loans. And I'm Jared Linson on behalf of Smarter Loans. Jennifer, thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. And just to get us started here, can you maybe just tell me a little bit about the history and the background of Symple Loans? I understand the company was originally founded in Australia.
That's correct. So we're really excited that we launched Symple Loans in Canada back in October earlier this year. Symple's been a major and consistent player in the lending space in Australia since 2018. And we really felt it was the right time to invest in Canada. We felt Canadians needed more options and better choices in the personal lending space, and we felt that we could bring that to them.
Fantastic. What would you say was the original mission behind the company? How was the sort of idea for the company born?
The mission was really to bring better, faster, and easier accessible loans to Australians and Canadians. So really creating that end-to-end digitized business and taking out some of those roadblocks that we found they were experiencing with other FinTechs and the big banks.
And the company is only in the two countries, correct? Australia and Canada?
We're in Australia and Canada with expansion plans into New Zealand at the moment as well.
Lovely. So Australian company could have taken its next step anywhere in the world. Why come to Canada?
As I said, there really we felt was an opportunity to offer better options. And when looking at the Canadian landscape, we saw that there was quite a gap that needed to be filled. So we were ready to do that with really low interest rates starting at 5.75%, but also combining that with what the big banks aren't able to do. And that's with that end-to-end digital experience. So a customer can apply for a loan and get their own personalized rate in under 2 minutes. And once approved, get their funds in their account as early as the next business day, something the big banks definitely can't do.
Absolutely. And I know you just mentioned a few, but just to get a full list here, can you give me sort of a rundown of the loan products that you're offering in the Canadian market at this time?
Sure. We offer an amazing personal loan product. It's an unsecured product with rates starting at 5.75%. The loan term is exceptional because it's up to 7 years, which gives Canadians extreme flexibility. But on top of that, there's no penalties for early repayment. So it gives them that really nice flexibility. And they're able to borrow up to $50,000.
And can you sort of break down what is a personal unsecured loan and how does it work?
Sure. So a personal unsecured loan is a loan that doesn't require any collateral or security deposit to borrow those funds. Unlike a credit card, our rates start at 5.75%, and you can borrow up to $50,000. And the term is up to 7 years, so you have a lot more flexibility. And unlike a secured loan, there's not the collateral required, but you also can use it on a number of things. You can use it to pay off credit cards and bills, to consolidate the debt you might already have at significantly higher interest rates as well. You could use it to do a home renovation. So that kitchen reno or bathroom reno you've been waiting to do, or that family vacation you've been saving up for and haven't quite had access to those funds, this can help make it happen.
And what is sort of the criteria? What does it take in order to be approved for an unsecured loan?
So for a Canadian to check their eligibility, they can visit us at simpleloans.ca and get their personalized rate in under 2 minutes. It won't affect their credit score as well. So it's a great opportunity for them to see what kind of rates they have accessible to them.
You mentioned some of the things that people can use this loan product for. What would you say is the sort of main problem that you're trying to solve for Canadian consumers?
We really think that we found that niche for Canadians. One is being able to provide a lower interest rate. So we found that in the Canadian market, a lot of our competitors are starting, their rates are over 24%. So when we're coming in at 5.75%, we're able to give customers a much lower rate that allows them to get their finances in order, right? We're giving them that flexibility that they need and being able to pay off their debt faster and at a lower rate and over potentially a longer amount of time. The second component that we feel our product is solving for really is that ease of use and having that end-to-end digital experience. So we're really giving customers a better experience, that they don't have to wait for an appointment at a branch. They don't have to wait for days for paperwork or approval for their own personalized rate. We give our rate in under 2 minutes. So you know exactly what your rate's going to be. And once approved, those funds get to your account within the next business day. So something that we're not seeing happen across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And, considering all the conveniences for a digital loan product, what are some of the misconceptions that might hold Canadians back from using an online provider?
Well, I think Simple brings to the table a lot of really great benefits that can make Canadians feel assured when they're getting an online loan. First and foremost is being safe and secure. So we've partnered with a number of leaders in the industry, such as Equifax and Flinks, to make sure that we're one, preventing fraud and making sure that customers' information really is safe and secure. So they know when they're applying with us that that information is staying within us and only being used for their loans. So that's something that's really important. I think the other thing is that cutting down from a time perspective. So Canadians don't want to be waiting to find out if they qualify for a loan and when those funds might be needed. If they need a loan, they're not waiting for that loan in 2 to 3 months. They want their money now, and that's why they're applying. So we're able to help them with that, which we know traditionally, if you have to go to a big bank, those are some of the hurdles that you might face, and you won't face those with us with our end-to-end digital experience.
Yeah, and I really want to focus in on that point because traditionally loan products do take a long time. Why is speed so important for consumers? Why is it such a necessity to be able to secure those funds quickly?
And I think there's a lot. We're very fast moving these days as Canadians. We don't want to wait. And sort of given everything we've gone through in the last 2 years, people just need to know that they're being taken care of and that they're being heard. And we feel that our product does that for them. There's not sort of this anxiousness of waiting. And especially if you are in need of funds or you're trying to get your finances in order, the last thing you want to be doing is waiting for a yes or a no. So we're sort of that one-stop shop for them. Within 2 minutes, they know what their rate is and they can continue to complete their application. And like I said, within the next business day, those funds are in their account.
And speaking more broadly, when Canadians are shopping around for a loan product, what do you think that they should be focusing on? What should they look for in a lender?
That's a great question, Jared. I think first and foremost, it's important to look for an accredited lender. So Simple Loans is accredited by both the Better Business Bureau as well as the Canadian Lenders Association. So we know that there's a strong backing behind the business and that it's a trusted provider. I think the other thing that's important to look for is really having a personalized loan. So you want a loan that's like Simple can provide, where we're actually using your own credit history to take a full picture of your financial background and giving you your own personalized score. So it's for you, not some cookie cutter that we're trying to place you in a box.
Yeah, I want to circle back to the first point you made because I think a lot of folks who might not have a full picture of their sort of debt situation in their minds, perhaps the amount that they owe is the amount that they owe. Debt is debt, and it's just a matter of paying it back as quickly as possible. But perhaps they're not looking at a way of paying less through changing providers or for taking a loan. So the idea of taking a loan to pay off debt might be a foreign concept to some people because it seems like you're just trading one, sort of debt for another. What advice do you have for folks that in terms of taking on more debt to get out of debt?
It's a great question, Jared, and I can understand the hesitancy that people have. I would, though, share that one of our number one reasons for customers coming to Simple is for debt consolidation. And that really is because of our low rates. So if they're finding that they're paying 20+% on another product, we help them pay off that other product with the loan. So we can pay off that product at the 20%. They're having the same amount of debt, but at 5.75% up to 19%, they're paying significantly less every month and they're able to pay off that loan faster. So really when you write those numbers down, it's a no-brainer for consumers.
Fantastic. I also wanted to ask, being an online provider, a lot of Canadians still have financial habits and strategies that might be a little bit out of date. And, they're sort of set in their ways as the way things have always been done. But given the rapid pace of innovation in this space, what are some of the newer tools and resources that folks should consider in improving their, financial habits, products and services of all kinds that they might not be aware exist that can make their lives easier?
I think there's a couple of things. One is taking a full glance at all of the the money coming in as well as the money coming out, and in addition to your outstanding debts, and taking a look at that and saying, okay, which ones can I pay off? And is there a way for me to pay off those debts faster? I think another way is really understanding your credit score. A lot of people don't know what their credit score is, and it's your credit score that actually gets you access to better rates and opportunities from a borrowing perspective.
Fantastic. What advice do you have for folks whose New Year's resolution was to improve their credit score?
Like I said, really understanding what your full financial picture is. So it might be a bit awkward. It might be difficult that you got to pull out that paper and sort of see what your full financial picture looks like. Don't be afraid. We've all been sort of trapped at home, and things have been tough for Canadians. COVID has not been easy. A lot of people, lost their jobs. They had a different income picture, and really figuring that out. So Simple really feels, given our timing coming into the market, that we're going to be able to help Canadians get ahead.
And I also feel it's worth asking, since one of your products is specific to home renovations. Right now we are seeing housing prices across the country skyrocketing. Last year we were dealing with a supply issue. It feels like upgrading or improving your living situation is getting exponentially more expensive as time goes on. Do you have advice for Canadians, especially folks who are looking for either a first home or to renovate their home for the first time, in terms of getting the finances together and making it work in a way that is financially sound?
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of customers who are coming and looking for renovation loans, because we do find that there's not a lot of inventory available, particularly in the GTA and in Ontario and Vancouver, to be honest. So we do have a lot of people deciding to stay in their homes, but they're trying to figure out how to get extra value or make some of those improvements of their properties. And we find that a renovation loan, a home improvement loan through Simple, is a great option for them to do that. We actually work with a number of builders as well who have started recommending Simple as a great option for people to have access to that collateral that they need at terms which will allow them to pay over 7 years. So whereas they may have to, if they went to the bank and they're paying rates, but they may not have access, or they're paying rates significantly higher, this is a great option for them, and one that actually builders are recommending to their clients.
Yeah, fantastic. And is there sort of a strategy here in terms of making that upfront investment in order to increase the property value over time? Is this, in some cases, investing in your home a good way to spend your money, or a good reason to take on debt?
I think it's definitely a comfortable reason to take on debt. Given that we're spending a lot more time in our houses, I think people over the last 2 years really have decided to jump on those projects, having been in their houses and realizing, what, I can't look at my kitchen looking like that anymore. Or there's 5 of us using this bathroom, we really need to upgrade. So they're deciding to pull that trigger. And we're really providing them that option and the funding to allow them to do that. I think we've also seen in the markets that the prices of housing continues to grow. So major renovations continuing, like a kitchen or a bathroom, we see that return on investment continues to be there, and being able to pay off that loan over time with a Simple loan really makes it a great option.
I also see on your website that loans are available for major purchases, and I'm curious what falls into that category. What sort of purchases do your customers make with those loans?
Yeah, major purchases is an exciting category. It's one where we see people who might have been saving for an engagement ring, or they want to pay for their family's wedding, and they don't necessarily have, $50,000 sitting there to make that happen. This is something that we can help them create that special moment. We also have seen a large trend in people buying vehicles as well as maybe a boat. So they've decided that they're going to pull the trigger, and they're spending more time up north, or they've purchased a cottage, and allows them to buy the boat. So we're seeing some of those things, and then the trend around cycling as well. So we're seeing people buying, their family might go on trips and have some very fancy bikes, and so that's again something. So we're seeing those categories, but a lot from an event perspective. So whether it's the wedding, engagement, that type of thing, those are some things that we're excited to help people out with.
Sounds like something that would be exciting to be a part of, for sure.
Definitely.
I'm trying to think if there's any other categories that we haven't discussed yet. I think the only one is education,
Yeah.
which is, of course, a big part of everybody's lives here. So how does Simple Loans help Canadians pay for education, and what do they need to know about taking on a loan of that kind?
An education loan is actually an exciting one, because it's one that actually can work for yourself personally, or to benefit your family. So it may be that you've chosen to put your child in private school and we're allowing you and giving you the funds to be able to do that and give your child the education that you've chosen to give them. It also might be used for you to go back to school. So whether it's your own university education or completing an MBA, allowing you access to do that. And those funds can be used again for rent, for books, for tuition, all of those things required in higher education.
Fantastic. Overall, is there any general advice, anything you wish people knew or had a better handle on when it comes to either debt or just strong financial well-being?
I think my advice is just having a true awareness of what your personal financial picture is and be honest with yourself. And then really looking for those tips and tricks as to how you can save money. So, like a simple loan, being able to bring down those interest rates that you're paying is a really great option. Looking at your credit cards and saying, how many credit cards do I have? Oh my goodness, I'm paying 21% on this revolving balance. How can I bring that down? So, a lot of the time, the recommendation is to call those credit card companies and have them bring your rate down. But we know that compared to a loan like one from Simple, they're not going to be able to bring those rates down to 5.75%. So, being able to understand when and where it's right to consolidate, I think is some really good advice for you to sit down and take a look at.
Fantastic. One thing I also wanted to touch on here, just in terms of general financial advice, a lot of Canadians might be concerned that after a period of extremely low interest rates, would you say that there is good debt and bad debt?
Well, my mother always told me there's good debt and bad debt. I think, again, it's responsible debt. So, really, when you're taking on debt, you're understanding that you're able to make those minimum payments. And those minimum payments are important whether you're using a credit card product or a loan product. So, making sure that you're able to make those monthly payments and that you're taking on that debt for something that actually makes sense for you. I think the bad debt really could come into play when you're purchasing something that's really out of your means and you know going into it that you're not able to make those payments. So make those decisions where you know that you're able to make those monthly payments. And that's something that we do when people take on the loan. It's very clear what their monthly payments are. They're able to play around with the terms so they can have a weekly, biweekly, or monthly payment and up to 7 years term. So you can see the flexibility and the different amounts that you'd be required to pay from a loan from 5,000 up to 50,000. So we're really helping to make sure you're making your own personal best decision, but on our side, from an analytical perspective, making sure you're also able to pay that back.
Is there anything that you wanted to mention or include in this conversation that we haven't touched on yet, or do you feel like we've hit all the main points here?
No, I think we've done a good job hitting the main points. I think what we're excited to really bring to Canada and the table is really this flexibility of this product. So really with some of the lowest rates you'll see in the market, really flexible terms, and really allowing Canadians to get a better option than what they've seen in the past.
Fantastic. Last thing I'll ask, does the company have any plans for the future that you can fill us in on? You hinted at an expansion into New Zealand. Are there other expansion plans, potentially new products and services, anything that you can disclose at this point?
Well, as I mentioned, the expansion into New Zealand, which we're very excited about. Right now, we're really making sure that we are giving the best product to Canadians out there. So every day we're watching what's happening in the markets. We've been expanding across the country as well. So we've added a couple of provinces this month. So that's really our focus, to really focus on Canada in the short term and making sure we're delivering what Canadians are looking for and filling those gaps in today's market.
Fantastic. All right. Final word. Is there anything else that you would like to include, or again, we've got over everything that you want to discuss?
Yeah, I think the other thing to add is just, given being a digital company, the fact that you can apply from anywhere. So whether you're watching your kids play hockey, you can apply for a loan right there on your phone, or, sitting in bed having a discussion over finances. There's no impact to your credit score. So you can apply in under 2 minutes and see what that rate looks like. And, rest assured that all of that information is safe and secure.
Anytime, any place, you can just check in and see
Exactly.
what that loan would look like.
Exactly.
Fantastic. All right. That is great.
Wonderful.
Jennifer, thank you so much for your time. Really
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Jared.